Xinzhu Tzu Chi volunteers prepare snacks and beverages for police and firefighters. Even if people are fully vaccinated, they should still obey pandemic measures to protect themselves. Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Hu Chao. Glad to have you here. It is soon the Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival, and to celebrate the holiday with police and firefighters who aren't able to head home for the holiday, Xinzhu Tzu Chi volunteers prepared snacks and beverages for them.
It is 3 a.m. and Tzu Chi volunteer Yu Zhaoqing is already brewing tea in her store, but this isn't to prepare for the day's opening. Instead, she's preparing for a pre-Mid-Autumn Festival activity.
My family had this business for 56 years, and we happen to have the tea brewing system. So I thought I can contribute to make the pandemic herbal tea to share with the police, as they have been working so hard during this time. We want every one of them to remain healthy.
To send their support to the police and firefighters for staying at their posts during this pandemic, Xinzhu Tzu Chi volunteers prepare seasonal fruits and other snacks while personally visiting each branch.
The Mid-Autumn Festival is near, and many of the officers are not able to go home to visit their parents or get vacation time off. So we prepared some snacks and fruit to thank them for their selflessness.
Thank you for visiting us and giving us such wonderful encouragement. We thank you for your hard work.
Tzu Chi volunteers transmit their gratitude and support through concrete action to warm the hearts of those who serve the public.
Lin Youxuan, a teacher at Tainan's Dashi Elementary School, has always been a top information technician during his time serving in the military. He was also recruited by a top electronic company for his talents, but he decided to become an educator. He has won an award for curriculum he designed and has also encouraged his students to use their creativity to learn.
Let's toss the dog picture in to add to the database, and now experiment on your own.
The kids enjoyed their information and communication class as they look forward to the computer's results of whether the given picture is a cat or a dog.
Is this your training data? There are similar pictures, right? They're both yellow in color and also side view of face.
The sorting is for a cat or a dog, but the kids are using human faces to test the computer. They next turn to testing whether the computer can differentiate between two fast food chain restaurant logos. Can the computer rate you as handsome or not?
There's a lot of AI right now, which uses computer to decipher the information.
He gave up his high salary job at an electronic company to be a teacher here at Dashi Elementary. Li Youxuan loves to learn right alongside his students.
When I receive my monthly school salary, I miss my high-paid job, but when working in a company, I'm not free to do the types of projects that I want. In the educational field, I can try alongside the students. They often lead me to places I've never been before, as they have a new way of thinking.
HTC gave him a raise, let him have his pick of what department he wanted to work in, but when he got his educator certification, he refused and came to work in the schools. He is receiving half the salary he had before, but he has boosted the students' grasp of information technology.
He's currently working on AI technology, which helps to decipher identity when a mask is worn. Li Youxuan treasures having this platform to nurture more young inventors.
During their exploration process, they might come up with different problems, and I just try to help them make their dream come true.
Tzu Chi continues to provide food for the disadvantaged in Indonesia. This time, working with the military, they've arrived at 2 schools to help residents of 2 villages, giving away 2,400 bags of rice. During a return visit from Tzu Chi, the recipients were quite happy to see volunteers again.
Bags of white rice have been organized in the classroom, waiting for the aid distribution by Tzu Chi and the military. They are at Shintakashikadu Tzu Chi Elementary School to distribute the items for the local residents nearby. This distribution is very special to Handy Jinardi.
When I participated in the distribution, it brought back memories of 2007 when I was working alongside Tzu Chi to build this school.
Bersama-sama dengan Yayasan Buddha Suci membangun SD ini.
Originally, this school had only 2 old classrooms, But after Tzu Chi's rebuilding, which occurred 14 years ago, it is still a place to help make the children's dreams come true.
On behalf of other parents and myself, I'm grateful to Tzu Chi for rebuilding this school.
This love distribution also took place at Unggulan Shinta-Kashi Pengalangang Elementary School. In 2009, when Indonesia experienced a 7.0 earthquake, the school was heavily destroyed. For nearly a whole year, the students attended class in tents.
Saya merasa bersyukur alhamdulillah dengan adanya bantuan dari Buddha Suci buat umumnya.
We are so thankful for Tzu Chi's help. Now the kids attend class in such a comfortable setting. When they are at school, I'm not worried about them.
Anak saya lebih nyaman sekolah. Saya juga lebih merasa aman jika anak saya di sekolah.
Besides the school campus, volunteers also had distributions in the community. When the rice is handed over, the recipients are reminded of the past, loving memory of Tzu Chi.
Since the beginning of online teaching, many impoverished families have been unable to attend classes due to a lack of a computer. Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter collects second-hand computers, helping students in need.
The room is small but well equipped. This is a place that gives new life to second-hand computers. Some have been in disrepair for a long time, while some have incomplete accessories. And these recycled computers, after repaired, can function again.
好似呢啲嚟講，呢個仲好啲，叫做尖全冇 RAM 啫。
This is a little better, sounds good, but just without RAM, so these problems may happen. For this one, it doesn't have power supply unit, so we are going to fix it as much as possible. In the past, these computers would be dumped to recycling stations for further processing and then sold to other people as scrap metal. It's actually very pity. Why not recycle these computers? They're just old but still functional.
稱為爛銅爛鐵咁樣賣，其實係好可惜。點解唔將呢啲電腦再損壞？因為其實佢只不過係舊，不過唔至於話唔用得。
For the keyboard without some buttons, I will combine two into one. For example, if letters A, B, and C are missing in keyboard A, while letters C, D, and E are missing in keyboard B, I'll just put letters A, B, and C into become like this. As I work on this, I gradually realize that actually a lot more things can be donated and recycled to give more families in need.
仲有好多嘢佢捐出嚟咧，其實仲可以用呢個方式去再循環，再俾更加多唔同嘅家庭。
Keyboard, headset, mouse, webcam, a CPU, and a monitor, the whole set like this to donate.
一個 CPU， 一個 monitor， 一隻，咁就捐㗎啦。
During the epidemic, students take online classes, so the demand for electronic equipment increases greatly. Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter raises second-hand computers to help impoverished students to improve their learning conditions.
Rather than throwing it into scrap and for scrap dealers to take whatever used materials they can, it is now being put to good use and allowing the communities to be able to benefit from this.
I think recycling is good because it's not a waste of resources, and also it helps keep the environment better. People may be able to benefit from it, other people.
Our children of today will be our leaders of tomorrow. Thus, we hope with these computers, it will help the children in their online learning and ease their financial burden of their parents.
We give this computer to the children, hoping that they can continue to attend classes and do not waste time.
不要浪費那個時間。
When I got in touch with this student, I learned that actually there are 3 students taking online classes at home, but there's only 1 tablet. Today we send this computer to the student, hoping that these students can have a formal computer to attend online classes.
The computer is easy to use, and I can understand what the teacher says. It's convenient for me to type the words, no problem. I feel very happy.
I'm very grateful to Tzu Chi because they gave us a computer to facilitate my child's learning.
While recycling old computers to prolong their usage, it also allows children from disadvantaged families to have equal learning opportunities and attend classes with peace of mind.
First world countries are beginning to administer a 3rd vaccination to further combat variants of COVID-19. However, many of the struggling countries do not have enough first-round vaccinations. In the end, it's these countries that will be heavily impacted by the variants.
We are preparing for the possibility of a 3rd vaccination shot to boost efficacy.
The most severe hit region suffering from COVID-19 right now is the state of Selangor, and the state government has already announced the possibility of administering a 3rd vaccination for its residents, while the health minister, Khairi bin Jamaluddin, states he's planning a committee of experts to discuss and evaluate the need for a 3rd booster vaccination. However, virologist Dr. Chi Hui-yi believes that Malaysia doesn't need such booster shots right now.
It's not really everyone that needs a 3rd booster shot. It's best saved for those who are in most danger of catching it, such as frontline workers or some elderly people who experience a rapid loss of antibodies, and others who might have special health problems that may need a 3rd booster shot to enhance their antibodies. Because only when others are safe will we all be safe. The most important is really to get that 2nd shot to everyone.
As the coronavirus continues to plague the world, many of the affluent countries are beginning to administer a 3rd booster shot. Meanwhile, Israel, who has always been on the forefront of vaccination, has prepared their citizens for a possibility of a 4th booster shot. Yet the World Health Organization is reminding those countries to hold off on booster shots in general, because there are still many countries who are not vaccinated yet.
Far too many countries in every region of the world are seeing sharp spikes in cases and hospitalization. Vaccine nationalism, where a handful of nations have taken the lion's share, is morally indefensible and an ineffective public health strategy against a respiratory virus.
Dr. Chi also believes that if the poorer countries are not protected by the vaccine, then it gives the virus more chances to mutate. Looking at the current vaccination strength, even if boosters are added, it's still not enough to combat new variants.
We say the earth is round, and if you get a 3rd booster shot to increase your own immunity against the Delta variant, you should know that when Delta reaches over there and it multiplies, it might mutate to Lambda or other new variants we don't know about yet. Thus, our current vaccination is no longer able to fight off the virus.
The best way to eradicate this virus is to achieve herd immunity, and not just a portion of people being vaccinated. Only when we are all vaccinated can we stop the virus from mutating. As much of the state has over 50% of the population vaccinated, the government is considering lifting their pandemic measures. Despite that, Kedah and Penang are still less than 50% vaccinated. If the country as a whole opens up earlier, then that might affect other areas. This is why even those who have been fully vaccinated should still keep to pandemic measures to protect themselves, as well as those nearby who have not been fully vaccinated. The pandemic's wrecking the planet, and it's something that we must all bear. We should have more empathy while working together to control the virus, so we may all soon see the light at the end of the tunnel.
In Malaysia, during the pandemic, Senior Counselor Fong Yi Leong guides and accompanies citizens who lost their family members due to COVID-19. Looking back at the start of this epidemic, human greed and killings of animals have allowed the virus to thrive, bringing a massive challenge to the public hygiene, Let's take a look. As of September 8th, 19,000 people passed away in Malaysia due to COVID-19. This number also presents the tens of thousands of families torn apart due to the loss of a family member. In Malaysia, senior counselor Fong Yi Leong discovered that the unfortunate has become a normality during the pandemic. This made him eagerly participate in online counseling lectures, as he is now guiding and accompanying people who lost their family members due to COVID-19.
I have to interact with 10 to 20 cases. For example, someone passed away leaving their child alone. Someone is at another country, cannot come back to attend funerals. Some people's belief system is crushed by COVID. They don't know how to face the sudden death of family members. So to us, promoting life education, we teach people how to plan your death. The other half is to look at living through death. Therefore, we must know how to learn and how to live well.
Facing the unfortunate cases, it's important to care for one another and accompany others in need. In Malaysia, during the pandemic, many people initiated rescue movements as these kind acts brought warmth to people in need.
We don't care if you're Chinese, Malaysian, or Indian. We're helping each other, and actually, we are blessed to do so. We have a feeling of sharing the same boat. But if you look at other countries, they do not have enough masks or oxygen cylinders. They have to rob these items. This makes me feel sorrowful.
SARS, MERS, and H1N1 can be transmitted through our greed to eat animals. Since the virus on animals will come into contact with humans upon eating. If we adopt a vegetarian diet, we are immune to animal-transmitted diseases.
If we adopt a plant-based diet, and that becomes our major food source, we no longer have to come into contact with wild animals. These vegetables have phytochemicals. It mainly inhibits oxidation. It also repairs our genes while improving our immune system. This not only reduces our pain, this also prevents further diseases.
If we acknowledge that every life form on Earth should be respected, we have to change our eating habits in order to prevent the next major virus outbreak.
Actually, if we solve COVID-19, later on we will still face new and different viruses. If we stop eating animals, we can prevent viruses from entering our bodies in the future.
In Thailand, although the pandemic has eased, there are still more than 10,000 confirmed cases every day. However, refugees who are underprivileged cannot receive pandemic protection from the government. Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter's Free Clinic Center has been providing free COVID screenings for refugees since early September. In addition, team of doctors also provide online free clinics for them.
At Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center, there are dividers, protective gear, and carefully planned flow line. Under the pandemic, refugees lack pandemic prevention protections.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the whole world. Thanks to Tzu Chi, the refugees can have the opportunity to undergo free COVID screening through internet appointments. In Thailand, we do not have the chances to receive pandemic prevention services. Thank you very much.
In 30 minutes, the screening results will come out. Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter Free Clinic Center has been providing pandemic screening and transportation subsidies for 100 refugees weekly since early September.
After he undergoes the screening, if he has contracted the virus, we'll give him medicines. In addition, when they leave, we'll give them a large bottle of alcohol spray and a box of masks.
Meanwhile, team of doctors also follow up on the patient's condition through online consultation.
If you have cough, you just take the medicine. But if you have feel more tired or have chest pain or anything that feel like serious condition, Tzu Chi will contact every day and visit the Tzu Chi so we can contact the hospital to bring them to the hospital.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Facing the pandemic, everyone has responsibilities. Tzu Chi Foundation has once again provided much-needed care to refugees.
The pandemic in Thailand is severe. Tzu Chi volunteers provided medical equipment to medical workers and medicines for people in isolation. For families in financial difficulties, they have provided timely living supplies to help them overcome their challenges.
In Thailand, under the raging highly contagious Delta variant, the number of patients increased drastically, causing the local medical system to almost collapse.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in Thailand, it is found that 97% of the confirmed cases are the Delta strain, which spreads faster than the Alpha strain. This has led to an increasing number of confirmed cases, and each hospital has insufficient hospital beds. Therefore, we divide the patients into different groups. Those are asymptomatic or with mild symptoms. We will arrange for them to be isolated and treated at home. This is called home isolation.
The fabric of Samapricon has also begun home isolation and community isolation for COVID patients with mild symptoms, hoping to relieve the burden of the tense medical system. But because of the outbreak of local cases, medicine is in short supply, so the local town office asked Tzu Chi for help. Volunteers sent out medicine to care for the confirmed patients.
Although we have the medicine, it may be inconvenient for patients to use it. As Tzu Chi has already packed the medicine into packages, this is very convenient. Whether the patient is in home isolation or community isolation, we can give them the Tzu Chi medicine package, which is really helpful.
Healthcare workers gave the medical package to patients so that they can take it according to their symptoms. With our healthcare workers tracking patients' condition and seeing the patients get the medicine in the shortest time possible, we feel at ease.
So far, we have distributed more than 7,000 packages of medicine. Of course, what we are doing next is to go to different hospitals to donate medical equipment.
Apart from medicine packages, Tzu Chi has also successfully provided anti-epidemic supplies and oxygen concentrators to hospitals and related units, safeguarding the health of medical workers and frontline epidemic prevention staff, as well as caring for confirmed patients isolated at home.
For patients receiving treatment in our hospital, when their condition improves, they can be discharged to free up hospital beds for patients with serious symptoms. These severely ill patients may need oxygen concentrators. So we are going to give the oxygen concentrators provided by Tzu Chi to impoverished patients to use.
The pandemic in Thailand is still severe now, but Tzu Chi volunteers still do their best to provide medical workers with protective materials and medicines for patients with mild symptoms, as well as prepare living packages to care for impoverished families affected by the pandemic, hoping to help everyone tide over the difficult time.
Thank you for providing the living package to me so that I can have food to eat in the following days.
Before the new semester, city volunteers in Silicon Valley prepared new clothes and shoes for impoverished students in East Palo Alto. This was planned a month beforehand, since volunteers must pick the right size for students and should also pick unique clothes for them. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.